Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching this out there on the World Wide Web. This is Jeremy Geelan for SYS-CON TV here at 11th International Cloud Expo. Who'd have thunk it? Well, actually, this gentleman, Wayne Ariola, VP of Strategy, Business Development, and all things that you could possibly imagine at Parasoft. Welcome, Wayne.
I love your intros. It's
true. I can but speak the truth.
You can speak the truth. Thanks for having us, by the way, at the 11th Cloud Expo.
It is incredible, isn't it? Let's just back up. 11 Cloud Expos. So does that mean it's been happening for 11 years? No.
I don't think so, but if you see the actual play up to where we are today and the maturity of organizations playing with these concepts that are now becoming much more real within the enterprise, I think we've taken huge leaps to a much more mature organization.
And what's quite interesting with Parasoft, Wayne, is that when we were more focused on virtualization, you were there with us, and we've kind of not diverged away from it, but we're not using the word so much yet. Parasoft is doing amazing things. So how do we reconnect people with that aspect of the cloud, virtualization, and what you're doing there?
That's very interesting. So in many cases, when we see folks trying to migrate into a cloud application and or connect all these disparate APIs up, which now those externalities have just been dotted all over the planet now. People are trying to connect that up, which has really started to wreak havoc on testing. Well, one of the last things always addressed on every wave of technology is quality and testing. And this is where service virtualization, a type of virtualization which resides at the API level, comes in just really handy.
So there was yet another opportunity for a Parasoft testing play. Did anyone else try and compete with you, or has it kind of been left to you guys always to come and save our asses?
Well, I think what's interesting in this is the graduation from where we started, right? Because if you remember back in the days when we were doing SOA, and we were breaking apart all those applications into those bite-sized pieces, and the maturity of those APIs were starting to be connected all over the enterprise or the geopolitical boundaries within an organization. We were there with SOA test trying to test it, right? So now, as these applications began to expand and those little components were distributed all over the earth now, we still have the same challenge. Now, bringing that or inverting it so the environment is available for somebody to test is what service virtualization does. Now, I have to admit, I'm not a huge fan of the V word, the virtualization word these days, and it seems like a lot of people have been somewhat taken aback by it. But if you think about it, in a test environment, the hardest thing for an individual to do is aggregate an environment in order to run that application under test. What service virtualization does, which is very interesting, is we monitor the transaction, collect the transaction for all the disparate components, and then give you an environment to replay it in order to exercise your application.
So no one else sensed the need for that, or they sensed it but couldn't cure it?
Well, I think since we were so deep in the SOA world at 10 years ago, this was 10, 12 years ago, you remember that, we were so deep into that, we really found that people were spending much more time trying to pry their test cases out of the environment rather than trying to construct the environment in order to exercise their test cases.
And I mean, they're knocking their head against the wall. It couldn't be done that way.
Couldn't be done. This service virtualization technology truly is the differentiator, giving people, especially if you're moving towards a real big cloud environment, giving people the freedom to test really anytime, anywhere.
And you've been doing this, even this component, a while, right? This is a new release, I think, this week or this month?
Today.
Brand today, here at Cloud Expo.
Cloud Expo, release of Parasoft Virtualize, which is service virtualization technology.
So I'm going to go to parasoft.com, /virtualize. What do I know?
Yep, you're going to go to parasoft.com /virtualize.
Oh my God.
See the new features. And in fact, what we did release today was pretty interesting, which is Change Advisor. So in an arena in which you have multiple endpoints that can be changing, we manage that for you, self-heal that for you, and give you the ability to have the most accurate test environment on the fly.
In which case, we are going to end uniquely this interview by together reciting the URL. It goes as follows. Parasoft goes as follows. Parasoft.com /virtualize. Thank you so much, Wayne, and thank you for joining this comedy duo out there on the World Wide Web.